In the shadows of FedEx Field, we find Marvin Wilson Stadium, the home for tonight's stellar contest between WCAC rivals top-ranked DeMatha and number 8 Gonzaga. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by Brian Gardner and Josh Barr. Tonight, such a good matchup, so much talent on the field in this one, folks. You're going to love this broadcast. Going to start things off with our players to watch. We start things with Gonzaga and number 3, Reggie Corbin. Really a scat back, Brian Gardner. A guy can really get it done.
Yeah, Reggie Corbin, he's not the biggest guy in the field, just 5'10", $180, but this is a dual threat player that his coach refers to as special. 573 yards on the ground. He also has 10 receptions for 161 yards. He scored 4 touchdowns on the season. He's a guy you look for when you need to make plays, and that is exactly what Gonzaga is going to do.
Also going to be looking out for Robbie Walker in the backfield. Over the other side of things, DeMatha, they've got a guy who can just really bang it into the line of scrimmage. That be the guy, Taiwan Deal. Josh Barr, tell us about him.
Well, Taiwan Deal's been doing it for 3 years now. He's going to go to play college football at Wisconsin. He's a big, bruising, physical, fast guy. I look for him to have a big night tonight for DeMatha.
Most definitely. You look at a guy that is going to be tough to tackle in the matchups tonight. Of course, had a chance to talk to both coaches before tonight's game. We start things off with the head coach of Gonzaga, Aaron Brady. He caught up with our Marissa Pilla.
Hi, I'm here with head coach for Gonzaga, Aaron Brady. Coach, this is a big matchup against DeMatha tonight, and your starting quarterback is out. What can we expect to see from backup Matt Mulligan?
You know, we got a good system here. With our linemen didn't get hurt, so we're going to keep doing what we do. Matt Mulligan will run the offense. We're going to have a couple guys that are going to play. We're going to miss Nick Johns, obviously. I mean, he's been a great player for us, having a great season. It's hard to lose a guy like that, but we'll step up.
And tonight's game has a lot of hype around it. Does that serve as a distraction or kind of a motivation for your team?
I think it's great that it's a hyped up game. That's why you come to school like this. You come to Gonzaga to play in games like this. The reason we played that schedule in the beginning of the year was to be in a game and to have this opportunity. And the kids have set themselves up to play a big game tonight, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Of course, that Gonzaga's Aaron Brady. Real quick, Josh, you know all about Coach Brady, what he's been able to do. Pretty good turning this program around at Gonzaga.
Yeah, there's Aaron Brady came in and he took over a Gonzaga program that was kind of struggling a little bit, and he's really brought Gonzaga up. I mean, you got to remember in WCAC, the level of play, DeMatha dominated the league for so long, and then Bob Malloy got good counsel going, and DeMatha and good counsel really dominated the league. Gonzaga has elevated its play to really become, those are 2 tough schools to keep up with. Gonzaga's right there with them right now, though.
Yeah, you mentioned DeMatha. Marissa also had a chance to catch up with their head coach, Elijah Brooks, before the contest.
Hi, I'm here with head coach for DeMatha, Elijah Brooks. Last time these 2 teams met, you guys were successful. So do you feel like there's another amount of pressure to recreate that success from last time?
Well, going up against a very good Gonzaga team, who always play well against us, we're just going to try to come out and play well and try to limit our mistakes. And, how it turns out is how it'll turn out. But we're just focused on coming out and executing and let the pieces fall where they may.
And Gonzaga's defense is extremely good. So what's your approach offensively to really put the points on the board?
Well, we have to win the line of scrimmage. Their secondary is very good. We have to be efficient in the pass game. The past couple games we've been running the ball well. We got to control the line of scrimmage and limit our turnovers.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Of course, that Marissa with Coach Brooks of DeMatha. Now, folks, maybe a little bit of burying the lead in this one. So much star talent, but we have to get it to you. Both teams with some quarterback issues. We start off with Gonzaga and their situation, Brian, having to go with someone besides their starter, Nick Johns.
Well, yeah, Nick Johns broke his collarbone a few weeks back. He will not play. Matt Mulligan, the sophomore, will start. Now, Mulligan, as mentioned, a sophomore, has only attempted 2 passes on the season. He's completed 1 for a total of 5 yards. How about a stat line for you right there? Also has 1 carry for 1 rushing touchdown. He hasn't accumulated that much, but he's not the only quarterback that's going to play. Their coach Brady told me there's going to be 3 quarterbacks that each have a package that they rotate through.
And, of course, you saw DeMatha coming out on the field, not led by John Lovett tonight. Of course, Josh, during as usual in your career as a sports writer, getting the scoop tonight. What's the deal with DeMatha under center?
Well, DeMatha's without John Lovett tonight. He suffered a concussion against O'Connell 2 weeks ago, and he's going to be out tonight. They'll go with Jamal Robinson, and DeMatha's a little bit lucky here. Jamal Robinson has experience at quarterback. He played 2 years ago. And, you know, his older brother James Robinson's was a terrific basketball point guard at DeMatha and is now at Pitt. So you know, obviously, you know, you're not going with your number one. There's going to be some drop off to number two, but Jamal Robinson's a guy who's played there before and he knows how to get the job done.
Now, quickly, we know how much knowledge you have about these programs with Robinson. Are we going to see a guy maybe a little bit more athletic and getting on the run a little more than we'd see with Lovett?
Yeah, you know, I think you'll probably see something different, and they'll probably try to tailor some things to what Jamal Robinson can do best, but you don't want to get away too much from what you do best. You know, you want to keep your same package as much as you can.
Now, quickly, let's take a look at our game notes for tonight. We start off with Gonzaga, and definitely, Brian, they've got some things they're looking to go ahead and pull the upset in this one.
Well, what they have to do is they have to stop the run and tackle. To a man, this DeMatha team is just bigger than Gonzaga. Not to say Gonzaga doesn't have any big boys of their own, but they're going to have to stop that run. Of course, we talked about the great talent that DeMatha has at the running back position, and also need to sustain drives, make first downs, get their guys going. Robbie Walker and Reggie Corbin start moving and sustaining those drives.
And of course, tempo is something to watch there as well. Over to DeMatha and their notes, limiting penalties and turnovers, also winning the line of scrimmage. Really, Josh, something that has hurt DeMatha this year. Penalties, turnovers, really undisciplined football.
Well, you know, any coach wants to limit penalties as much as you can. DeMatha's had the talent to get by. You know, you're facing a tough team this week against Gonzaga. They really need to cut down on things in order to keep their momentum rolling.
Yeah, of course, these two teams have it going really early in the season. Both teams suffering some crushing losses to some regional powers out of this area, but coming back strong in the WCAC. DeMatha 4-0 in conference so far. Gonzaga, they're 3-0 in conference. This series since 2004, it's 9 for DeMatha, but really the key in this one is that Gonzaga has won 4 of the last 5 games, so they've been able to get it done with Aaron Brady as the coach here. And really, I think it's one of those things with, you look at Gonzaga, that's something to really hang your hat on, knocking off a team like DeMatha that many times.
Yeah, you know, among those wins, I mean, there have been a couple of those games, or maybe all 4 of them, where DeMatha has come in as the, you know, you don't want to say a favorite team in high school football, but the team everybody kind of expected to win or the higher seed in the playoffs, and Gonzaga has gotten it done in a lot of those situations. You got to give them credit.
Of course, looking out here at the field, and again, we see such big players and huge players out there. We got the captains out in front, and really going to be a special game tonight. The last meeting in this one, it went DeMatha's way, beating Gonzaga 40-27. That one taking place last year, I believe, in the playoffs of the WCAC. And got to ask you, Brian, you got to be pretty impressed looking at some of this talent we're seeing out here on the field right now.
Absolutely. I mean, this roster just littered with guys who have offers from this big school. You look Maryland, I think there was an Alabama I saw on one of the rosters, and just guys who have committed. They're going to play at the next level. And, of course, traditional powers in the WCAC. We're going to see some high-level football down on that field tonight.
And as you just saw, Gonzaga winning the toss, they're going to go ahead and receive in this one, so they will start out with the ball. We talked about an interesting thing, and we'll get to it, our anthem coming up in just a second, but really tempo may play a big part in this. Can Gonzaga get a bigger DeMatha team playing at their tempo as opposed to DeMatha, where they really want to play kind of pressing it and go ahead and running that ball because they're so big, so huge up front?
And that is something we're going to keep an eye on, that snap count. They want to get that high and get those plays out quick.
And right now we'll take a quick break for the playing of our national anthem. A fantastic rendition of the national anthem and a fantastic night for football here at Wilson Stadium. And again, we have to say it's in the shadows of FedEx Field. It's right there next to us, folks. It's really amazing driving up to a high school football game and seeing this. But I think you have to say, Brian, that you're looking at guys who could conceivably play on Sundays at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing, I think, is that one side, when you're driving on offense, you're looking at FedEx Field over there in the distance. The other side, you're looking at the scoreboard. And I think one can maybe help you out a little bit. One can maybe get you a little distracted. You start imagining yourself maybe in burgundy and gold and forget that there's a ball about to be snapped.
Now, getting to this game here and really a historical rivalry, bring Josh back in on this one. And Josh, just your thoughts on this rivalry, these two teams, and really having so much tradition when it comes to high school sports.
Well, they definitely do in all sports. And it doesn't, it can be basketball, it can be football, it can be hockey, soccer, whatever it is. These schools, lacrosse, they really want to get after each other now. Of course, in football recently, good counsel's thrown has really changed the equation with what they've done the past few years. Winning the league every year and going undefeated through the league. They've been quite impressive, and it's been a competition to see who can get second. Now I think both these schools, good counsel maybe is a little down this year. They've had some injuries. DeMatha and Gonzaga, I think this is, and with St. John's a little bit too. McNamara has improved. This and O'Connell also. This might be the best overall that the league has been in several years.
Some people calling it the SEC of high school football, at least in the Washington, D.C. area. Of course, you'll see the uniforms tonight. Gonzaga out there in their white jerseys with the purple helmets and the black pants. DeMatha going a little off kilter tonight, I should say, getting in the uniform train. They're going with the slate gray with the blue numbers. Maybe tough for your announcers up here in the booth, but pretty cool uniforms, you got to say, if you're a kid, to put those on.
I want to get rid of them.
They look fantastic up close, but we don't love them up here.
Most definitely. Getting ready for this one here at Wilson Stadium. DeMatha, the top-ranked team in the area. Gonzaga, number 8. Getting ready to kick things off. Derek Graham for DeMatha. Their backup kicker. May ask Josh about that in just a second. We'll go ahead back deep for Gonzaga. It'll be Reggie Corbin, also joined by Marcus Lewis back deep. And we're almost underway here in this huge matchup between these two WCAC rivals. And here we go. Short kick. Pop-up. Going to be taken by Gonzaga. Knocked loose. Ends up in the hands of the return man. And maybe a big play here as Lewis in the open field has one man to beat. He'll be brought down from behind at the 20-yard line. But a huge play. DeMatha tried for the short kick, and it backfired greatly.
Oh, DeMatha without its starting kicker tonight, Mac Burke, he's off playing soccer in a soccer tournament in New Jersey. They go to the backup kicker here, and I really like what they did. They pop it up short. They actually get a big hit on the kickoff. Ball pops loose, and it turns into a huge play for Gonzaga. What a start.
How about the run from Marcus Lewis? He throws a stiff arm there at the end, picks up about another extra 20 yards. That was impressive.
So Gonzaga in the past, when they've beaten DeMatha, their coaches have admitted they've got some short fields, taken advantage of them. They'll have a chance right here. Of course, the sophomore under center, Matt Mulligan, in for Nick Johns. He leads him out. I formation is behind him. Receiver one way, tight end the other. Handoff, off right tackle. Pushing forward, not much there for Robbie Walker as he stopped for a minimal gain.
There's that big front line of DeMatha, and I believe that was Devontae Fox, the 6'4", 379-pound senior, leading the charge and making that tackle.
I think one thing to keep an eye on here, DeMatha, for both teams, especially for DeMatha's defensive line, everybody from DeMatha is going to be coming. They're going to be looking for the run. Gonzaga at some point is going to have to either get something out wide or hit a pass just to kind of loosen things up a little bit.
You definitely would think that DeMatha going to make Mulligan prove he can beat them. He takes the snap, hands it off left tackle. Bunched up again, a little bit of movement, but not that much, as it'll be a 3rd and long for Gonzaga.
If you're Gonzaga here, do you really want to let your sophomore quarterback, you start off the game with a huge play, do you want to let your sophomore quarterback take a shot here on 3rd down? Or knowing that you have one of the best kickers in the Washington area or far, far beyond, do you want to just play for 3 points here? This is a tough call here for Aaron Brady.
It's not a tough call anymore, Josh. Is it going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct on DeMatha? A crushing penalty after, as you said, having them in a 3rd and long situation.
That's how you lose football games. Give away yards, get out of a 3rd and long into a 1st down situation for the other team. Give away yards, give away points.
Jeremy, that's just what you're talking about in the open with DeMatha and their penalties. They really had after the opening kickoff. They have Gonzaga backed up in the 3rd and long in a really tough situation. Now you got 1st and 10.
So Gonzaga out of the huddle. Back deep, it's Walker. Lone receivers Greenwood. To the right of the formation, offset fullback. Handoff. Off left tackle, cutting it back. Inside, Walker stretching forward for some positive yardage. Not that much. We'll give him a gain of about 3, maybe 4 on the play.
Got him moving on the pitch, and Robbie Walker, an impressive player, oral commitment to Ohio, trying to get him in a little bit of space, pick up some yards, not quite exactly what they hoped, I think, when they drew that up, but that'll do.
Yeah, it's a big situation. Look for the tight end kind of popping out here. I think Gonzaga at some point will try to throw the ball. I thought they might have tried on second down last time. I think this should be the time they try to go for it.
DeMatha coaching staff looking for a stop out of their defense. Man in motion, they'll run it again. Off tackle, looks to cut into the hole, and nothing there as Walker swarmed under by the DeMatha defense.
Couple of tough defenses, and we're seeing it so far here from DeMatha with that big front seven that we mentioned. Of course, swarming to the ball, and they know. It seems like they know that the run's coming, and Gonzaga's just running the ball anyway. Eventually, you're going to have to do something other than just hand the ball to one of your running backs who are, granted, great playmakers, but gets predictable, gets easy to stop.
And we'll have a timeout on the field taken by the DeMatha defense. We want to remind you that the DC Touchdown Club is bringing together the Washington area football community to support the game we all enjoy. Be sure to catch the DC Touchdown Club's High School Football Player of the Week each Friday night on News Channel 8's High School Sports Final at 11:30. And join us at the Military Bowl on December 27th and our awards dinner this coming winter. For more information, visit DCTouchdownClub.com. That's DCTouchdownClub.com.
It's an interesting play. It's very interesting to meet DeMatha after stuffing the run 4 times. They're calling timeout here. When you think it'd be Gonzaga, who really needs a little more prep to think about what's going on, what to do on 3rd and 6 from the 7 here.
Be interesting. Mulligan yet to put it up in the air. We talked about his lack of experience under center. Coming in for Nick Johns, of course, hurt his collarbone a few weeks ago. Didn't play last week, didn't hurt Gonzaga. Now into the game as the Wildcat quarterback, possibly James Orfini, usually a receiver. We'll see what he does here. Orfini called the signals, and he pulls back and maybe calls something else. He's flanked by Corbin. And he'll take it up the middle. Orfini dives forward. It'll be close to the sticks for a first down. Eagles actually had a chance to get a first, but I believe he's going to be short.
You know, Orfini's the guy who's played quarterback in the past for Gonzaga before moving to tight end. They bring him back in here, you know, because he has some experience. They go to his own read. He keeps it. I think that he probably didn't get a very good spot on that one. You know, if you're Gonzaga, you might as well take a shot here from the 3 on 4th and 2.
Calling it 4th and 2. They'll send 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Orfini still in the shotgun. He's flanked by Corbin. Big early play. Now Orfini, he'll motion out to a wing spot. Corbin's going to take it, cuts up the middle. Does he get in? Does he get the first down? Push up front. They're saying touchdown, and it will be a touchdown. Gonzaga jumping on the board early on the nice run by Reggie Corbin. Kept it going, kept the legs going, and gets his team on the board.
Creative play call, motioning the would-be quarterback out of the backfield, and suddenly you don't know what's going on. Nice little bit of trickeration there from Gonzaga, and cashing in on that big opening kickoff return, somewhat of a broken play. Nice.
And the pro DeMatha crowd maybe stunned early on with the quick score by the Eagles.
Yeah, you have to think about how much time Gonzaga put into that. You know, that's a package that they can only really go to one time for that, you know, before DeMatha knows what's coming when they get out of it.
Sema hits the extra point, and that'll make it 7-0. So the quick play, a big play on special teams, a couple big 3rd down conversions. We talked about it in the open. That was going to be big for the Eagles tonight, is converting first downs and keeping the clock moving. Guys, that's exactly what they did. Got the short field and converted a couple, one by penalty, one on their own, and now they're on the scoreboard first.
Yeah, they got a lot of help on that. Of course, that penalty, the big one on 3rd and 10 that gave them a first down. I mean, that is converting a first down, probably not the way they drew it up back before they bust over here. And then, of course, like we mentioned, cashing in on that big kickoff return to open. If you get that short of a field and you only get 3 points, it's somewhat deflating, I think. And so that's enormous for them to start this out and get those opening 7 points on the board.
One of the big keys to tonight's game, I think, will be special teams. But DeMatha without its kicker, you saw, I mean, pretty unlucky on the opening kick. But DeMatha has some speedsters in the back here returning. Gonzaga is going to show Ben Seaman he's one of the best kickers around. I'm sure he's going to try to boot it in the end zone here and make DeMatha starts from its own 20.
That's so big, Josh, about high school football. The teams that get those kickers that take the kickoff return out of the game, usually the better teams. Seema, the 6'2", 185-pound senior, he lines it up. Stags with 2 men back deep. And Seema will boot it away, and this one is going to go into the end zone, so no return for the Stags, and they'll start off from their own 20-yard line.
Got a big leg on him. You saw there was the ball boy who was back to retrieve after the extra point. He was way back on the back of the track to go catch that one and backpedaled for it, reached up, and actually made a nice play. I'm going to be interested to see if Seema, maybe after a few kickoffs later, starts to try and go for the field goal post all the way from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of kickers getting college attention. College recruiters are after him. He's going to be a scholarship kid. Never kicked before this past summer. He's a rugby player.
That's incredible.
That means he can make a tackle, too. I formation. We mentioned before, Robinson getting the start for the injured Lovett. Motion by Deal. Quick pass over the middle. This one will be caught. And a big gain all the way across the 35-yard line down to almost the 40. And be Cam Phillips on the reception, and a big play to start things off for DeMatha. They go to the air.
How about contrast right there? 2 teams starting back up. Quarterbacks, one looks like they're afraid to throw the ball. One comes out slinging it in a big gain.
Yeah, well, that was a nice controlled play to get Jamal Robinson into the offense. Let's get him a nice easy completion. Cam Phillips is a burner. He can go.
Again, I formation. Phillips in motion. Handoff Deal off left tackle, and he's going to be stuffed in the backfield and pushed back. Gang tackling by Gonzaga. And, guys, that's got to be what you have to do against the big man in the backfield.
Yeah, swarm. Front line, that's all what it's all about, of course, Gonzaga. And you can't let Taiwan Deal get going. He's their leading rusher, leading playmakers. Got 861 on the season entering today, so maybe get him frustrated early. That could be big.
Call it 2nd and 10, 8:02 and rolling here in the first quarter. Gonzaga with the first score, up 7-0. DeMatha on their first series here. Man in motion. Robinson, he'll pitch it outside. Cut back up the middle, and Deal high-stepping through some defenders and gets it across the 50-yard line for a gain of about 12.
And that's a great cut by Taiwan Deal. He looks like he's going to be stuffed up again when he gets to the outside. Cuts it back up in. Powers through a couple would-be tacklers, gets the first down.
That's the vision, and then using the size to shake him off. A big man who can move, hard to bring down, and they didn't swarm him on that front penetration. He gets away, and let's see what happens.
Receivers each way. It's Jones and Phillips. Wing back. Almost jumping by Gonzaga on the hard count by Robinson. They'll hand it off Deal, and he'll be brought down in the backfield. Nice play, knifing in from the linebacker spot. That was Kyle Taylor.
Have to say right there, I'm not quite sure to go into a draw play or a little bit of a delay is the thing you want